Hello guys, I'm Shantanu and today I'm going to talk about monetary policy in India. So first of all, we need to know that why is this topic relevant for us? Okay, this is a part of the General Studies Paper 3 for the UPSC Civil Services mains exam, and under the keyword Indian economy and issues relating to planning, mobilization of resources, growth, development and employment, you can find this topic. So this is very important from exams perspective. Now this is also important for RBI grade B for the NABARD exam. It is also important for WBCS and other state PSCs, and to understand the basic economy of our country, that how does the country make money and how does it control it, how much control does RBI or the government has over it, will be understood once you read the monetary policy. Okay, so let's start with the monetary policy. What is a monetary policy? It is refers to the policy of the central bank. In case of India, it is RBI. To the use of monetary instruments under its control to achieve the goals specified in the act. Now, which act it is talking about? It is talking about the RBI Act 1934. तो इसमें गवर्नमेंट और आरबीआई का रोल क्या है? Section 45ZB in the amended RBI Act 1934 provides an empowered six-member monetary policy committee. So MPC, Monetary Policy Committee, it is constituted by central government after the notification in the official gazette. It determines the policy interest rate required to achieve the inflation target. So the basic thing is that you need to find out the actual interest rates which are going to achieve the inflation target. So this is the keyword for monetary policy. Now Reserve Bank's Monetary Policy Department MPD assists the MPC in formulating the monetary policy. So it is not the totally done by RBI alone. It is done by the Monetary Policy Committee, which is a six-member committee constituted by the central government to achieve the inflation target. And in this job, they are helped by the Monetary Policy Department of RBI. Now, view of the key stakeholders in the economy and analytical work of the Reserve Bank contributes to the process to arrive at the decision on the policy repo rate. तो इसके बारे में हम बाद में बात करेंगे, लेकिन अभी तक के लिए यही जान लो आप कि there are six-member monetary policy committee constituted by central government to have the inflation target. Okay, and they are helped by the monetary policy department. तो नेक्स्ट पार्ट इज फाइनेंशियल मार्केट ऑपरेशन डिपार्टमेंट एफएमओडी, जो कि रिजर्व बैंक ऑफ इंडिया का एक डिपार्टमेंट है. दे ऑपरेशनलाइजेस द मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी मेनली थ्रू डे टू डे लिक्विडिटी मैनेजमेंट ऑपरेशन. तो लिक्विडिटी मैनेजमेंट ऑपरेशन रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी ऑफ Financial Markets Operation Department. The Financial Market Committee FMC meets daily to review the liquidity conditions so as to ensure that the operating target of the weighted average call money rate. So this is very important. You need to know what is call money and what is weighted average call money rate. So we will also talk about this later in the slide. Before the constitution of MPC, यानी कि Monetary Policy Committee, there was a Technical Advisory Committee (TSC) on the monetary policy with experts from the monetary economics, central banking, financial market, public finance, advised by the Reserve Bank on the stance of monetary policy. So before the introduction of the Monetary Policy Committee, there was a complete autonomy of the Reserve Bank of India to nominate people on the ground of monetary economics, central banking, financial market, and to form a technical advisory committee to have their say on the monetary policy in India. However, its role was only advisory in nature. With the formation of MPC, the TAC is not exist right now. Okay, तो अभी होता है MPC यानी कि मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी कमेटी फॉर्मेशन के बाद, और पहले होता था with the help of a technical advisory committee जिसका जो members होता था those were nominated by Reserve Bank of India. Okay, so this you all need to know regarding the role of the government and RBI in formulating the monetary policy of India. तो चलिए नेक्स्ट देखते हैं स्टैट्यूटरी प्रोविजन. सो एज वी हैव टोल्ड दैट दिस इज वेस्टेड ऑन द रिजर्व बैंक ऑफ इंडिया एज पर the RBI Act. Now This was amended by Finance Act 2016. So RBI जो act होता है 1934 का, that was amended in 2016 to provide for a statutory and institutionalized framework for a monetary policy committee. तो monetary policy committee is inside the Reserve Bank of India Act, जो कि amended हुआ था in 2016 by Finance Act. Okay. So a committee-based approach for determining the monetary policy will add a lot of value and transparency to the monetary policy decisions. Meeting of the Monetary Policy Committee shall be held at least 4 times a year, and it shall publish its decisions after each meeting. The quorum for the meeting is a 4 member. मतलब at least 4 members must be present for any validity of any decision in a meeting. Each member of the MPC has 1 vote, and if there is an equality of vote, then the governor has a second casting vote. As per the provisions of the RBI Act, out of the 6 members MPC, 3 will be from Reserve Bank of India and 3 will be appointed by the central government. तो ये 6 जो होता है, इसमें 3 होता है रिजर्व बैंक ऑफ इंडिया का अपना मेंबर्स और 3 होता है गवर्नमेंट द्वारा नॉमिनेटेड और अपॉइंटेड मेंबर्स. Members of the MPC appointed by the central government shall hold the office for a period of 4 years with immediate effect or until further order, whichever is earlier. तो उसका जो टेन्योर होता है गवर्नमेंट द्वारा जो मेंबर्स मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी कमेटी में अपॉइंटेड किया जाता है उसका जो टेन्योर होता है वो होता है 4 साल. Next, what are the basic objectives? Now there will be lots of terms and you can find it over the internet, but right now keep in mind the basic objective. The most important is to have a price stability while keeping in mind the objective of growth. मतलब growth और inflation जो होता है इसके बीच में एक perfect balance जो करना होता है वो काम होता है monetary policy committee का. The amended RBI Act also provides for inflation target to be set by the government of India in consultation with the Reserve Bank. तो inflation target इंडिया में कौन देता है? गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया, लेकिन वो अकेला नहीं देता है, they need to consult it with RBI. So this is very important, and this is done once in every 5 years. So you need to know this basic about the inflation target, that it is given by the government of India after the consultation with the Reserve Bank of India and once in every 5 years. Accordingly, central government has notified the official gazette 4% CPI inflation as the target for the period of 2016 to 2021. तो इंडिया का जो इन्फ्लेशन टारगेट है कंज्यूमर प्राइस इंडेक्स के हिसाब से वो है 4%, और उसका जो अपर टॉलरेंस लिमिट होता है वो है 6% और लोअर टॉलरेंस लिमिट होगा 2%. मतलब 4 - 2 और 4 + 6 तक वो मतलब आप फेल्यूर नहीं कह सकते हो. तो दैट इज what is our inflation target presently and it is going to work up to 2021. और objectives क्या होता है? To maintain a general trust in the currency, to contribute to the stability of the GDP, to achieve and maintain a low unemployment rate, to maintain predictable exchange rates with other currencies. तो एक तो अपना जो करेंसी है उसको स्ट्रॉन्ग रखना एक और स्टेबल रखना एक काम है मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी का, और दूसरा है जो इन्फ्लेशन है उसका जो टारगेट है उसको अचीव करना, और तीसरा है जो जीडीपी है उसको स्टेबल करना, और अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट रेट जो होता है उसको लो करना है. सो दोज आर द इंपॉर्टेंट ऑब्जेक्टिव्स ऑफ मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी कमिटी, सॉरी मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी. Now, there is a term failure to achieve inflation target. Central government notified the following as factors that constitute failure. तो अब कब बोलोगे कि inflation target achieve नहीं किया गया? Okay, when the average inflation is more than upper tolerance level. Upper tolerance level क्या था? 6% of the inflation target, जो क्या था? 4%. For any 3 consecutive quarters. तो एक क्वार्टर में कितना महीना होता है? 3 महीने होता है. Now, if the average inflation is more than the upper tolerance level of the inflation target for any 3 consecutive quarter, then it will be called that there is a failure to achieve the inflation target. और क्या बोलता है? The average inflation is less than the lower tolerance level for any 3 consecutive quarters. तो एक बात देख लीजिए, इन्फ्लेशन जो है वो अपर टॉलरेंस लेवल के ऊपर भी नहीं जाना चाहिए और लोअर टॉलरेंस लेवल जो है उसके नीचे भी नहीं आना चाहिए. मतलब देयर मस्ट बी अ परफेक्ट बैलेंस. सो यू नीड टू बी क्वाइट क्लियर दैट इन्फ्लेशन इज नॉट बैड, बट इफ इट इज गोइंग above the upper tolerance level for sustaining for 3 consecutive quarters, then there is a problem. Or if it is going below the lower tolerance level and stays there for 3 consecutive quarters, then also it is a problem. और वो हम देखेंगे इन्फ्लेशन की जो वीडियो होगा वहां पे. Once in every 6 months, RBI is required to publish a document called Monetary Policy Report. उसमें explain किया जाता है what are the different sources of inflation और अगले 6 और मतलब 6 से 18 महीने के लिए फोरकास्ट ऑफ द इन्फ्लेशन, मतलब इन्फ्लेशन का रेट कितना रहेगा इसका फोरकास्ट. Now, prior to the amendment of the RBI Act in 2016, the flexible inflation targeting framework was governed by an agreement on monetary policy framework between the government and the Reserve Bank Committee. जैसे कि बोला था कि पहले inflation targeting देता था government after the agreement or consultation with Reserve Bank of India. Now, what are the different types of monetary policy? There are two very basic objectives. So there are two types of monetary policy. One is expansory, मतलब आपका जो इकोनॉमी है उसको expand करना है. कैसे करोगे? It maintains a short-term interest rate at a lower than usual rate and increases the total supply of money. अगर interest rate कम हो जाएगा तो इकोनॉमी और मार्केट पे मनी ज्यादा होगा. Okay. It is traditionally used to try to combat unemployment in a recession by lowering the interest rate and hope that the less expensive credit will entice the business into expanding. अगर interest rate on the loans becomes lower, then the business entities will take that loan and the business will expand and people will get employment. As a result, you will be facing a lesser unemployment. This increases aggregate demand or the overall demand for all goods and services in the country, जो कि बूस्ट करता है शॉर्ट टर्म ग्रोथ एज मेजर्ड बाय द जीडीपी ग्रोथ. और एक्सपेंसरी मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी यूजुअली डिमिनिशेस द वैल्यू ऑफ द करेंसी रिलेटिव टू द अदर करेंसीज द एक्सचेंज रेट. तो इसका एक गुड इफेक्ट क्या होता है कि the interest rate becomes low. As a result, there is a chance that the unemployment rate will be lowered. और उसका एक थोड़ा सा नेगेटिव इफेक्ट क्या होता है कि in exchange rate market the value of the currency becomes lesser. Now, what is contractionary monetary policy? The other type, it is just the opposite of the expansory. Now, it maintains a short-term interest rate higher than usual, which slows the rate of growth. This slows a short-term economic growth and lessens inflation. तो इन्फ्लेशन घटाने के लिए आपको कंट्रैक्शनरी मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी लाना होगा और इन एक्सपेंशनरी मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी देयर विल बी हायर इन्फ्लेशन बिकॉज देयर इज मोर सप्लाई ऑफ मनी. It can lead to increased unemployment and a depressed borrowing and spending by the consumer and business, which can eventually result in economic recession. So contractionary monetary policy can lead to economic recession. Now monetary policy में decisions किस बारे में लिया जाता है? On short term interest rate, on long term interest rate, velocity of money through the economy, exchange rate, credit quality, bond and equity, government versus private sector spending or savings, international capital flow of money on large scale, and financial derivatives such as option, swap, future contracts, etc. Monetary policy framework, this is another important term. This framework aims at setting the policy rate मतलब repo rate based on assessment of the current and evolving macroeconomic situation and modulation of the liquidity condition. Macroeconomic situation or liquidity condition, these are the two important factors to have the monetary policy framework. Now repo rate changes, and if it change then it gets transmitted through the money market. Okay, so repo rate का direct effect होता है money market के ऊपर और उसके बाद जाता है to the entire financial system, which in turn influences the aggregate demand. जो aggregate demand होता है that is a key determinant of inflation and growth. So that is the flow of the decision made in the monetary policy. Now once the repo rate is announced, the operating framework designed by the RBI envisages the liquidity management on a day-to-day basis through appropriate actions which aim at anchoring the operating target, that is the weighted average call rate. So the two lines are very important. You need to have view on the macroeconomic situation and you need to know the liquidity condition in the money market. Now ये जो weighted average call rate और call money rate WCR, ये क्या होता है? It is the interest rate at which a large financial institution जैसे कि banks borrow funds from the central bank, जैसे कि रिजर्व बैंक. In case of India, if the money that is borrowed from Reserve Bank of India, then it is called call money rate. The duration of the credit is between 1 to 3 business days, so this is very short term. The transaction amounts are huge, that is upwards of 5 crore. The settlement is done through a clearing house. So these are the important thing, that this is short term borrowing and huge money through a clearing house, where RBI gives money to a financial institution यानी कि बैंक. और instruments of monetary policy ये off होगा, sorry for that. Now what are the different instruments to implement the monetary policy? Repo rate, this is the fixed interest rate at which RBI means when it liquidate banks against the liquidity adjust. So यहाँ पे क्या होता है, रेपो रेट के अंदर क्या होता है, आरबीआई ने इंजेक्ट्स लिक्विडिटी, मतलब मार्केट में जो पैसा होगा वो आरबीआई ने मार्केट में देगा, मतलब बैंक्स के द्वारा, एंड अंडर द लिक्विडिटी एडजस्टमेंट फैसिलिटी. सो रेपो, यू नीड टू रिमेंबर, दिस इज फ्रॉम आरबीआई टू बैंक. ये समझ लो, आरबीआई टू पीओ, पीओ मतलब बैंक पीओ, ओके. और रिवर्स रेपो क्या होता है, फिक्स्ड इंटरेस्ट रेट, रिजर्व बैंक अब्सॉर्ब्स लिक्विडिटी, मतलब रिजर्व बैंक ले लेता है मार्केट से. एंड फ्रॉम द बैंक्स अगेंस्ट द कोलैटरल ऑफ द एलिजिबल गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटीज अंडर एलएएफ. और ये एलएएफ क्या होता है, लिक्विडिटी एडजस्टमेंट फैसिलिटी. इट कंसिस्ट ऑफ ओवरनाइट एज वेल एज टर्म रेपो ऑप्शन. The aim of the term repo is to help develop the interbank term money market, which is in turn can set the market-based benchmark for pricing the loans and deposit. Okay, मतलब इंटरबैंक लेंडिंग के लिए ये LAF यूज किया जाता है. ये लोन फॉर द अदर कस्टमर्स, दिस इज नॉट यूज्ड, दैट इज डिफरेंट रेट. we will talk that later. Okay, the Reserve Bank also conducts variable interest rate reverse repo auctions as associated under the market condition. तो इंटरबैंक लेंडिंग के लिए जो रेट बेंचमार्क रेट लिया जाता है वो होता है लिक्विडिटी एडजस्टमेंट फैसिलिटी, ओके. और उसके अंदर आता है रेपो रेट और रिवर्स रेपो रेट, एंड दिस टू आर डन टू कंट्रोल द लिक्विडिटी इन द मार्केट. और एक होता है मार्जिनल स्टैंडिंग फैसिलिटी, a facility under which scheduled commercial banks can borrow additional amount of overnight money from RBI, dipping into their statutory liquidity ratio portfolio up to a limited penal rate of interest. तो अगर रेपो और रिवर्स रेपो के बाद भी कोई ट्रांजैक्शन का जरूरत होगा तो दैट विल बी फैसिलिटेटेड थ्रू द मार्जिनल स्टैंडिंग फैसिलिटी, जहां पे आपको कोलैटरल देना पड़ेगा इन द फॉर्म ऑफ एसएलआर पोर्टफोलियो एंड एट अ पेनल इंटरेस्ट रेट, दैट इज अ हायर इंटरेस्ट रेट. This provides a safety valve against unanticipated liquidity shocks to the banking system. Corridor, you need to know the term. The MSF rate and the reverse repo rate. Reverse repo में पैसा कहां से कहां जाता है, पीओ से रिजर्व बैंक तक, मतलब बैंक से रिजर्व बैंक तक. और MSF में भी पैसा बैंक से रिजर्व बैंक तक, मतलब सॉरी उल्टा बोला, रिजर्व बैंक से बैंक तक जाता है. तो दिस इज कॉल्ड द कॉरिडोर फॉर द डेली मूवमेंट ऑफ द वेटेड एवरेज कॉल मनी रेट. बैंक रेट क्या होता है, इट इज द रेट एट विच द रिजर्व बैंक ऑफ इंडिया इज रेडी टू बाय और डिस्काउंट बिल ऑफ एक्सचेंज और अदर कमर्शियल पेपर. द बैंक रेट इज पब्लिश्ड अंडर सेक्शन 49 ऑफ द आरबीआई एक्ट 1934. The rate has been aligned to MSF rate and therefore changes automatically as and when MSF rate changes alongside policy repo rate. तो ये जो बैंक रेट है, दिस इज अलाइंड विद द मार्जिनल स्टैंडिंग फैसिलिटी. तो जब जब MSF चेंज होता है तब बैंक रेट भी चेंज होता है, और इस बैंक रेट के द्वारा रिजर्व बैंक बाय करता है बिल्स ऑफ एक्सचेंज और अदर कमर्शियल पेपर. ओके, मतलब रिजर्व बैंक वो कमर्शियल पेपर ले लेता है और मार्केट में मानी जाता है. तो दिस इज अ बैंक रेट. और ये सेक्शन 49, ये जो बैंक रेट है, दैट इज डिफाइंड इन सेक्शन 49 of the Reserve Bank of India Act. Cash reserve ratio, the average daily balance that a bank is required to maintain with RBI as a share of such percent of its net demand and time liabilities that RBI may notify during the monetary policy. Okay, ये net demand और time liability क्या होता है, that will be taken care of in some later videos. Statutory liquidity ratio, the share of NDTL यानी कि net demand and time liability that a bank is required to maintain in safe and liquid assets such as government securities, cash and gold. Changes in SLR often influence the availability of resources in the banking system for lending to the private sector. Open market operation. This includes both outright purchase and sale of the government securities for injection and absorption of durable liquidity. So OMO, it can be done to sell or to buy the government securities or any other like securities which can be used to inject or absorb money from the market. Market stabilization schemes, MSS. This is instrument for the monetary management and introduced in 2004. Surplus liquidity arising from large capital inflow is absorbed through sale of short dated government security and treasury bill. ये ट्रेजरी बिल क्या होता है, जिसे क्या होता है, इसके बारे में हम डिटेल्स में बात करेंगे किसी और वीडियो पे. And the cash so mobilized is held in a separate government account with the RBI. तो ये जो मार्केट स्टेबलाइजेशन स्कीम, रिजर्व बैंक सरप्लस, ये that was in news in recent times, so you need to know a little bit about that. Okay. Surplus liquidity arising from large capital inflows is absorbed the sale of short dated government securities and treasury bill. तो यहाँ पे लास्ट स्लाइड पे आप देख लीजिए अभी का जो रेट्स होता है जो कि डिफाइंड होता है रिजर्व बैंक के द्वारा और मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी में भी होता है, वो उसका रेट क्या है. पॉलिसी रेपो रेट 5.40, रिवर्स रेपो रेट चल रहा है 5.15, एमएसएफ चल रहा है 5.65 और बैंक रेट चल रहा है 5.65. तो देखिए जैसे कि बोला था कि एमएसएफ और बैंक रेट, these are aligned with themselves and they are having the same value. और जो बैंक रेट होगा उसके मतलब वहां से आप 50 basis point 50 bps if you subtract, then you will get reverse repo 5.15. रिवर्स रेपो मतलब पीओ से रिजर्व बैंक तक. ओके, तो मार्केट का मनी जो है वो एब्जॉर्ब किया जाता है. और रेपो रेट मतलब रिजर्व बैंक से पीओ तक वो 5.40 होता है. तो रिजर्व बैंक अगर पीओ को मतलब बैंक को लोन देगा तो थ्रू रेपो रेट, सो दैट विल बी हैविंग अ हायर वैल्यू बाय 25 bps. तो सबसे पहले देख लीजिए सबसे कम क्या होता है, रिवर्स रेपो, एंड दैट इज लेस देन द रेपो रेट व्हिच इज आल्सो लेस देन एमएसएफ जो कि इक्वल होगा बैंक रेट के साथ. एंड रिजर्व रेशियो क्या होता है, CRR 4% ऑफ द नेट डिमांड एंड टाइम लायबिलिटीज, एंड SLR जो कि 18.75. यू नीड टू कीप इट इन गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटीज, गोल्ड और कैश इन द सेफ. और लेंडिंग और डिपॉजिट रेट्स के बारे में देखिए, बेस रेट जो होता है दैट इज 8.95 to 9.40. MCLR ओवरनाइट होता है 7.80 to 8.30. सेविंग्स का रेट होता है 3.25 से 3.5 तक और टर्म डिपॉजिट ग्रेटर देन 1 ईयर का रेट होता है 6.25 से 7 तक. So these are the policy rates you need to remember, especially this. These are exclusively done through the monetary policy. So hopefully you have enjoyed the video and please let me know how do you like it or not and what are the different questions you are having right now in your mind, and I will always be coming to help you. Okay, thank you.